Hi friends, welcome to Parent Cafe Live. Today we're going to be talking about putting kindness out into the world, and that's in relationship to our self-regulation. So we're giving our kids another tool within our active calming to help realign our emotional brain. So to calm, we start with our belly breathing. That helps us get out of our safety survival part of our brain. And then that moves us into the emotional part of our brain. And then instead of negative emotions, which we're experiencing, and that's what's causing the stress and anxiety and frustration and all those things, we want to flip that into a positive way. So we're going to start with the belly breathing. We are going to honor that we are safe because we're in a safe place doing our breathing exercises, correct? I'm okay. Can handle this. Maybe we can't handle it yet, but we're calming, and then we want to spread some love. So we're going to choose somebody that we're connected to, somebody we care about, somebody we're concerned about. I don't think we get frustrated with somebody to this level of stress and consuming feelings unless it's somebody we really care about. So if it's a conflict with somebody, wishing them well. So not only does this allow us to be in a positive frame of mind to start our brainstorming, we've gotten calm, we flipped our negative thoughts into positive ones. And I've got this, we've got this, okay? So it allows us to take our brain off of ourselves, and then it allows us to find some compassion and wisdom. Because if we force our brain to think with love and to have our heart think with love, we are going to flip that from it being somebody's fault or we're angry with somebody, and it just really changes our perspective, which allows us to use this part of our brain because it did that flip. It moved up one more level to our executive functioning. And so instead of thinking with the emotional side of things, we're like, oh yeah, I do love them, or I do want them to be proud of me. I do want them to be happy. Whatever those things are, then it allows us to start problem solving. Okay, what can I control? What can I do? When we can't control something, wishing well also makes something tangible. So it gives us that opportunity to do something with what we're feeling. And having something done just feels better, even if all it is wishing well. So we can do this in our head, right? But it's probably more beneficial for a young child to have another visual representation. So you're going to want a wishing well routine. So some people do these in the morning, at dinner time, maybe every time you're upset, or a bedtime ritual. There's lots of places you can put this wishing well in. And a fun way to do it so that they have a chart is you can create, like in a folder, you would put a heart in there, and then you would use Velcro and have some dots within your heart, and then you would have pictures of family members, people that your child cares for, is concerned about, has connections with, and like a wallet size picture is more than enough. So if you were to print through like Walgreens, you'd get a whole sheet, an 8x10 sheet of pictures that would fill to get wallet size. Or you could use an Instax camera or something. Or you could have your child just draw pictures to represent who those are, and you would switch those over. Another way you can do it is putting it on a baking sheet. So you could go to the dollar store, get a baking sheet, and they typically have like craft magnets, or you'd go to a craft store and you'd still do the same thing with your heart on there, but your pictures would have magnets on them. And you probably want to laminate your pictures either with like self-lamination or heat like lamination. You can also use contact paper. It's not as strong, but it does protect your pictures. So if your pictures are printed on like photo paper, they're going to be kind of sturdy, but this will protect the image, and little kids always have dirty fingers, right? So it allows them to use that, and it'll last a little bit longer. So when you want to create this ritual to help, and you're going to gauge that the best way, I think it's a really useful tool to do whenever you're using some calm down strategies, but also integrate them in other places. Other moments that you're already calm in, because you're not going to get very far practicing something. It's not going to get routed in their brain as well if they're in that fight or flight and emotional brain when you're first teaching them this. The more you practice while they're calm, it's a tool that they know they can reach for, you know, and it might just be in a brain reach. They're pulling back a file in there. But we always want to practice stuff when we're calm. And it just makes it so we're just not hitting contention, because sometimes when we're upset, like that's the last thing we want to do. If somebody else is trying to get us to do something, we're just like, I can't do that, I'm so upset, right? So our kids are going to be like that too. And so practice when you're calm. So belly breathing, affirmation that you and they are safe. They're in a good place. They're okay. And then reassurance that I got this. I can handle this. Okay? If we're not ready for that, if you can't jump into that, right before or right after is a good place for the wishing well. I feel like it's more effective before, but sometimes we can't wish well until we're a little bit calmer and we reaffirm ourselves. Okay, I can wish well. Now I'm going to wish well, and now I can problem solve. So it's kind of up to you. See what works, which one you have the better reaction for. And it's something nice that you get to do with your child and connect with them. And I really like the visual thing, because anytime our child's upset, and maybe they're upset because they are missing somebody, like they can go do a wish well. You know, they can send that love out into the universe and it'll get to, you know, the person they care about. When we are wishing well, it really does like a brain flip. So with our active calming, we're doing the breathing. So we're down here in the survival part of our brain, and then we've moved up to this emotional part. Okay. And our emotions are kind of overwhelming. They're not exactly positive emotions. So moving into well-wishing puts our brain and heart in the right place. And that allows us to have a perspective change. So it allows us for compassion and wisdom. It allows this part of our brain to be like, oh, I got this. Oh, it's not their fault. Oh, I could see where I could improve on that. Oh, let's just fix whatever is going on. Like you can look and focus on what's actually going on instead of focusing on how you feel about what's going on. Does that make sense? So it calms our brain, it calms our body, puts us in the right place. So that also makes us a little bit more hopeful and helpful. So if we're at least in a positive emotional state, and if our kids are in a positive emotional state, even if they can't quite get to problem solving, or maybe they're too young and we have to take the lead on that a little bit, they're going to be more compliant, right? Because they're like, oh, the situation's a little bit better. I'm back to my like safe feelings with my parents. I'm back to my happy, safe place, right? Because we could always be safe, but if they feel that contention and that, you know, conflict, that dysregulates them, that disorganizes all those thoughts and feelings. So we're finding it, and that's why we have this safe place to go, and we don't want to use it as a punishment, and we want to be careful how we're wording it. We don't want to say, you're really upset and you need to go calm down in your calm down corner. We sound angry, right? I mean, our eyebrows are like, and our mouths are like, and we're like, right? So our kids are just seeing that and they're like, I don't know what to do with this. Mom and dad are mad. Versus, oh man, I need to control my feelings. I need to go over here because I want to fix this. And mom's being calm and she's being nice. And I love my mom. Oh, I'm breathing. I really love my mom. I want to talk to my mom. I want to problem solve, right? So that's kind of how that naturally goes. We can always choose to wish well, right? Like, it's hard to be like, I don't want to wish them well, I don't love them. But if we just like openly do that, it's going to help in any situation. Like if you're cringing in your body and you know, you have this person that helps ground you, but you can't talk to them right now. Like, start with your deep breathing and then wish them well. Like, because then they're here with you, right? It's still going to have that therapeutic healing property. So just own it and answer it. And that's why it's so important to start building these in kids, because they're going to start to make those connections in their brain, and then they're going to start having like those positive feelings and remain hopeful when life gets tough. Like, mom and dad aren't here right now, but I know they got my back. I know that I can talk to them later about this. You know, it just makes a lot of things that are challenging in life less detrimental. Like, that initial knee-jerk response isn't going to be so traumatic for them. You know, like, getting your first F in school is traumatic. You know, hopefully your kids never have that. But if they do, sometimes their first B is traumatic. They're afraid they're going to disappoint you. You know, if they know you got their back, they're going to be like, okay, I can handle this. And we're going to come up with a solution instead of just being like, got that grade. I mean, either they're going to be super upset or be aloof about it because it's just too much work to put the emotion in. If we've got their back and they start building that safety and security and, you know, wishing well with other people, like, they're creating their community and that ownership of their community and their connectedness to others. So, like, let it happen. Like, these little things really build and they improve our brain growth and those connections. And being connected to one adult is the most important protective factor for our kids' healthy success. So they have better academic success, but they also do just like have better health outcomes. And if life gets stressful and hard, like say they do experience a mental health problem, it will be less severe or more manageable if they have that connected adult. Like, they have people that got their back. And it's okay if it's not always us. We want them to have more, because if something makes them uncomfortable to talk to mom and dad about, if they have another person that can help be that buffer, it just makes everything less scary. It makes everything, it helps them use this part of their brain to not just go off and try to make impulse decisions and solve things on their own that they probably can't, you know, like they start to learn when they can solve problems or when they need to tag somebody in. So don't be afraid to start this at any age. It's gonna help. And if it feels silly, that's okay. If it feels wonky, that's okay. Keep practicing and make it yours. Just own it and do it when it feels right. Just like have fun. It is fun to live life through your child's eyes and help them explore and build their brain. Like, taking the emphasis off of having to punish and turning it into meeting kids' needs and helping them grow and regulate and organize themselves is like, it's beautiful. Like, you're just gonna feel so much more peace when you start to do this, because you're gonna see it helping so many other parts of your life, including your own patience. Like, I have a lot of expectations of my child, and learning when those are way too high, like they just don't even make sense for where he's at developmentally. They just don't make sense because I'm the parent and he's the child, and I've been living life a lot longer than him. And like, I have to remember those things, because we just get so used to things being easy, we forget that they don't know how to do those. And that's okay. So have fun with these things, enjoy your kids, love on your kids, and don't be afraid to let them show you love back, and just find delight in each other, find safety in each other, you know, be a family unit, whatever that looks like. Help them create those roots, help them create their connections and making strong, impactful relationships that are healthy. So I hope you guys appreciated today's video. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Please subscribe and like the videos. Subscription helps you get notifications, especially if you click on the little bell when you're subscribing, and you'll get notification of our new uploads. So I look forward to seeing you again. Thanks, guys.